Hello and welcome back to Rule the Game. In this video, I'll show you how to play Conspiracy, a game by Bruno Cathala and Chevallier, published by Bombyx. This game is part of the Abyss universe, which consists of the Abyss standard game and a bunch of expansions. This one is a standalone version though, that is meant for 2 to 4 players, starting at age 8 and lasts for about 20 to 30 minutes. If you know the original Abyss game, then this game will feel very similar to that game, and so it's going to be easy for you to learn it. If you've never played any of the Abyss games, don't worry. I'll start here from scratch, and even you will be able to play this game after I've explained it to you. We will start as usual by explaining how you're going to get points in this game and how you're going to win it. Then I'll show you how to play it, I'll show you how to set it up, and in between I'll also give you some hints for your first game. If this is your first time on this channel, please also subscribe. But now let's get started with Conspiracy in the Abyss universe.
Rule the game.
In Conspiracy, players are trying to collect different lords to build this pyramid that you see here. Once the first player has finished his or her pyramid, then everybody else gets one more turn, and then we go into scoring. For the scoring, there will be 4 different parts that get scored. First, every lord here in your pyramid has up on top left their influence points. There are 5 different cards, and values go from 0 to 6, where 5 is actually not in the game. The first thing that gets scored, that from every single color, we will score the number of influence points of the one card in that color that has the highest number of influence points. And you see here actually that each of these cards that have the highest points, we already put some tokens on them. So there are my 5 tokens here. And you just sum up these different influence points here. So in my case, I've got 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4, which is 21. Secondly, players are most likely going to have at least one, if not several, of these location cards on top of some of the cards that have keys on them. We will score now these location cards. Some of them are straightforward. Here, for example, you get 7 victory points for this card. This card here is 1 victory point for each silver key that you have. And we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 victory points for this location. And this location here is that he gets the influence points of the seahorse card with the highest points. That's actually this one here. That's 3 points that you get there. There's only one other kind that you could get, which is this one here, where you get 1 victory point plus 1 per seahorse. In my case, I have 2 seahorses. That would be 3 victory points, but we never got that location, so we don't get these points. The third way you get points is by checking where you have the biggest area of the same color. In my case, that's here the blue cards. Here I have 6 cards that are all connected to each other, and only connected cards are considered an area. So you check for the most connected cards of one color, then you multiply the number of cards in this color times 3. In our case, 6 times 3 is 18 points from this. And then the fourth way to get points is 5 victory points for the person who has the most pearls on their cards here. There will be in the middle of the game, there will be here this card that shows what the highest number of pearls is of one of the players. In this case, it's a 9. And myself, I think I've got only 8, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've got only 8, so I've got 1 less. So I don't have this one. There's just 1 player who will have these 5 victory points. So you'll add up these 4 numbers that you have, and the person with the highest number will win. In case of a tie, the player with the most pearls wins. Conspiracy is a turn-based game. On your turn, you have exactly 2 options. The first option is that you take 1 to 3 cards from the deck here. You open them up, and you will now have to decide which one of those 2 cards you want to put in your pyramid. The pyramid is always built here, first the 5, then these 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Always from the left and always from the top first. You then take the cards that you want, you place that card in your pyramid in the next position, and you will then put whatever card is left, if there's a card left, you put it here to the discard cards that you see here. Next, you will check if the card that you have has now the highest influence number of that color, so that you would place this token on it. In our case, we have a 2 here already. This is a 1, so this is not the highest one that we have. Then we check the ability of this lord, and in this case, the lord here has a silver key, and every time you have 2 keys of the same color, in this case silver, they're also gold keys as you can see up here. Every time you have 2 of them after each other, in that case you can now select a location from over here. They're also common, some are visible here and some are here on the location deck. You can either pick one location that is open, there you know what you get, or you decide also here that you open up 1 to 3 different locations, turn them around, look at them, and then you have to take one of those cards here and you have to place that card then on top of the key of the last key that you've just placed. So we're going to put that one here. And with this, all the keys are reset again, and coming up later we need to actually gain another 2 keys of the same color. Should you already have a silver and a gold key, then whatever key comes afterwards will actually trigger that you get a location, but that's not what we had in this case here. So that's option 1, that you take a card here from the deck. Same as I said with the locations before, if you decide to go for this opening up cards from the deck, you'll have to take the card from the deck. The alternative that you have, instead of taking cards from the deck, is that you take some of these discarded cards here, where you saw before that I discarded whatever card was left from me taking cards from the deck. As you can see, there are already some cards here, and it can be that there's more than one card available here from one color. In this case, you see actually orange has already 2 cards. If you decide to take some of the discarded lords, you'll take all of one color. So if I wanted to take these, I could take them, I could put them here in whatever order I want, but you see again, I need to go from left to right first, fill up that row, then go into the next row. Now maybe in my case, for some reason, I decide I would rather want to have this purple one, and I place the purple one here. Now this one you see has 4 influence points, and my highest in purple so far was 2, so I'll move that token. I will also check now, because this card has a pearl down here, I will now also check how many pearls I have. I have 2, 4, 5, 6, and you see down here on this card that the person with the most pearls currently also has 6. Since I also just got 6, I get to steal these 5 victory points. Now I'll place them next to me, and we'll continue with the next player. In case the number of pearls was before at 5, because I had 5, I will move this pearl here now to 6, so that everybody knows that the highest number of pearls is now 6. And that's how the game proceeds. You decide you take either the lord from a deck, or you take lords from the discarded cards, and then you'll play here until your pyramid is full. If you get down to the bottom of the pyramid and you have cards left, you'll put them back to the discard pile. But once the first person has finished their pyramid, everybody else gets one more turn and the game's over. Now, as you might have noticed, all the different lords have different abilities. Each lord has influence points, then they have here the color or the symbol for the color, in this case the octopus for purple. And then in the bottom right, they have a special ability. The 0, when you place it, will allow you to swap 2 lords. You decide which lords to swap. It can even include this one, it cannot include a lord that has a key. The idea of the zero lord is that you can arrange your cards a little better to have bigger areas of connected cards of the same color, because as you remember from the scoring part of the video, that you'll get 3 times the number of cards that are connected, and so the 0 is meant for you to reorganize your field. The 1 has a silver key, the 2 has a gold key. Those are not much different. Both 2 gold keys lead to a location, or 2 silver keys lead to a location. The 3 gives you 2 pearls, the 4 gives you 1. And last but not least, you have the 6, which is the highest. If he decides to place the highest here in your Senate, in that case, what you have to do here is that you also have to flip around the top card of the deck and put it here on the discard pile. That will, of course, help the next player, because now they have 2 green ones that they could potentially take. I won't give you the explanation to all the different locations and what their abilities mean or how they're scored. For that, please check the instruction manual. And that's already it. That's Conspiracy. And here's some hints for the first game. The game is actually rather well balanced. So whatever you do, most likely you're going to have a similar amount of points as the other players. The only thing that I would advise against is to really focus on pearls. There's not much point in really being the person with the highest number of pearls, unless you get it almost automatically, because the 5 victory points that you get from playing the pearls, they're not that much. Much more important is that you get locations. Make sure you have a lot and you have good locations, which means you have to collect keys properly. But with the locations, you could potentially get a lot of points if you collect the ones that really fit the cards that you already have. Now also, of course, make sure that you try to connect as many cards of the same color as possible. But even there, if you get to 5 or so, you're doing actually quite well. You don't necessarily need many more. A key is, though, to not forget also that each of the lords has its own influence points, and you can't just collect the lords that have keys so that you get good locations, because they only have 1 or 2 influence points. That's not enough to win the game. You'll have to collect some 3s, some 4s, or even some 6s. An important aspect that you should not forget is that only the highest card in one color counts, right? So if you get these 2 cards here and you add them, even though this is a 4, it won't give you any points anymore because you already have the 6. So here it makes absolutely no sense to get a 4. What for? Because you already have the 6. Here, rather get 1s and 2s that get you the keys. So always think about the fact that you just need the highest card for the scoring of the 1 lord in each color. Besides that, it's rather quickly played. It's 20 to 30 minutes. So play around, get your first experience, and then play another round, because now you know how it works. And this is Conspiracy, a game in the Abyss universe. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And next up, how to set up the game. To set up the game, you take the deck of lords, you shuffle them, and put them in the middle. Next, you also take the deck of locations, shuffle that too, and place it somewhere in the middle too. You'll open the top location. You'll then also take here the card with the pearl counter. You'll put the pearl here on the 0, and you put the 5 victory points somewhere on this card so that the first person who has a pearl will be able to take it. Then every player gets these 5 tokens of the 5 different colors, and that's already it. We're ready to go.